Need to be a meteorologist to know that ice is slippery. But did you know that each winter sport has its own desired level of slickness? Professor Michael Crosser, I thought frozen was frozen.
No, not all ice is created equal. In fact, the slipperiness comes from a thin layer of water on the surface that acts as a lubricant.
So the slickness depends on the thickness?
Let's explain.
For decades, scientists argued over where that slippery layer came from.
To make it slippery, you have to have a lubrication layer.
Early ideas blamed pressure or friction.
That is an effect right around freezing, but that doesn't explain how you can still skate on ice at lower temperatures than that.
And you're telling me this is all because of this quasi-liquid layer and the molecular structure of the ice itself?
Ice is a crystal. It's got a crystal structure. All that means is that they're ordered in a very particular way. But if you get up to an interface with air, for instance, now these molecules don't have instructions telling them to be anywhere from above. So you have this transition layer where even though this water is cold enough to be ice, it is a quasi-liquid layer.
That layer is incredibly thin, but it controls how slippery the ice feels.
So the slipperiness of the ice is very dependent on how thick this water layer is, and that depends very strongly on what the temperature of the ice is.
That's why winter sports tune their ice differently.
Hockey rinks tend to keep their ice about 10 degrees Fahrenheit colder than freezing.
Colder ice means more grip.
Hockey players need to be able to change direction very easily, and so they need that extra grip. So they want this quasi-liquid layer to be as thin as possible so that they can actually change direction and go.
And the same science explains why ice in the Northwest can be especially dangerous.
Here in the greater Portland area, we rarely get too much below freezing. And so when we do have ice on the roads, it's got a very thick quasi-layer. It's very, very slippery here. So Chris, your final exam is, would you feel safer driving on a hockey rink or on a city street at 32 degrees Fahrenheit? You pass.
Now, would you have known that before?
From observing, like I thought, oh, but actually diving into it, no, I didn't know all that. That was
Yeah.
super cool.
It was very interesting.
And also, so the word is in the figure skating community that they're using the same ice arena, same ice for speed skating as they are figure skating this time around. Typically, they have different venues,
Right.
but there's been some rumblings that the ice isn't perfect for either sport because they're trying to go back and forth with the conditions of the ice for the two different sports, which that also explains how different that temperature desire is. That's fascinating stuff.
Little much makes a big impact.
Just a couple degrees.